with a quick title defense tonight.
Just a non-event. Non-event.
Welcome back, guys and girls and UFC fans. And if you've just seen there, Amanda Nunes absolutely destroyed her contender Megan Anderson from Australia in last weekend's UFC 259. And as I promised in my last video, I was going to make my first one about the women's, and obviously this was the featherweight title defense fight, the main co-event. And as you just saw, Nunes absolutely destroyed her in the first round, with the stoppage coming at 2 minutes and 3 seconds with a very successful armbar. Now, despite the fact that Megan's a monstrous 6 foot, she and was the current Invicta champion from a 2-win streak, she's just nothing compared to Amanda. Amanda obviously is the greatest of all time within 2 divisions. You know, she's a 2 title belt holder, and she proved herself that why she is the best and why I've got to talk about her and give her props, because you know, no one comes close to this woman. She's defended this belt twice and also the bantamweight 5 times. She hasn't lost in years, to be fair. And this fight, I mean, like, it was so short-lived. It was very entertaining, of course, even though it was only 1 round, but it was a bit boring because it just happens. She just beat her so easily. You know, I'll be honest, I was hoping for a bit more from her, but nonetheless, it was great to see just how powerful she is, you know, with her stand-up and also her ground game. So Amanda kicked off the first round with a low kick, which put some pressure on Anderson straight away. She then obviously connected with a hard overhand right, again knocking Anderson back a bit. A few moments later, she knocked her again, and then you could see Anderson was hurt. She fell to the ground, obviously looking a bit, you know, oh shit, I'm in danger. And then Nunes just took her straight to the floor, you know, and just took her back, rolled for the armbar, and that was it. Anderson had no defense and locked her up tight. And again, she had no option but to tap. So that was it. Over, like I said, in 2 minutes and 3 seconds. It was just very impressive to see. This now takes Amanda's record to 21 wins to 4 losses overall in her career. She entered the UFC in 2011, so 10 years ago now, in the Strikeforce, which still remains, by the way, with what she did that day against Julianna Pena as the fastest knockout in UFC history for the women. So incredible straight away to make a massive entrance. As you can see here, I'm running through now year on year, making her debut again in the UFC, first round finish. 2015, she wins again. Again, in 2013, she finishes a future featherweight champion in just 1 round. 2015, again, her first fight of the night, performance of the night against challenger McCann with a submission. She then earns her first finish via leg kick against Basler with 12 leg kick finishes in 2015. 2016, she famously smashes Ronda Rousey, and then that makes it 4-0 against former and future UFC champions. So she's really waking up the sport and the division at this point. July 2016, 5 years once she entered the UFC, she had her first headline fight where she actually successfully wins the bantamweight title. 2017, she successfully defends against Shevchenko for the 2nd time, bringing a successful title defense for the twice, and also 5 times in the former and future UFC champions. 2018, she sets a winning streak for the women's bantamweight history for 7 consecutive wins, leading on to 2018, where she becomes the first 2-division, 2 belts champion within the bantamweight and featherweight divisions of McGregor, DC and Henry Cejudo. And then from 2019 onwards, as you can see, she's just continued to dominate both divisions. Every opponent who's come up against her, she's completely destroyed, you know, absolutely annihilated them. She's also tied here for the 2nd longest active UFC win streak with Usman at 13. Can you believe it? Looking at these stats, I just feel like this woman, she's so underrated and needs to have a bit more promo and hype about her. Just because it's the women's division, I hope that more men will recognise and appreciate her brilliance and her amazing athleticism. And may I add, by the way, she's a mum. She's got a young child, and she's doing all this still, and she's 31 now, or 32. So she's obviously not super young, but she's also still in her prime. And, you know, looking back at some of the footage here of some of her old fights, you can just see how dominant she is. And I wouldn't put it past her if she can knock out a lot of men, you know, whether that be in UFC, normal boxing, or any other type of martial arts. She's such a good, well-rounded athlete. Brazilian, I forgot to mention, by the way. And as we know, the Brazilians know a thing or two about MMA. So it's been a 10-year journey for her in the UFC. Obviously, she'd been fighting way before that and training in preparation for this sort of level that she's playing at. But I would say, guys and girls, you know, she's not going anywhere. She's said, look, I'm going to retire those belts at home. No one's going to take them. And I'll be honest, unless some new person comes in, some new fresh blood who's got something special, I can't see anyone taking her, because she's just so powerful. She's so good at what she does. And she shows that the dominance with every opponent, even people previously, like we mentioned, Ronda Rousey, for example, previous champions. She's just absolutely destroyed them. You know, there's been no chance in hell whatsoever for them. If you see here, there's an old footage from 2016, as I mentioned, where she just, you know, Ronda was rattled at the end of the fight. You could see she's like, what the hell just happened to me? She couldn't believe the punches she was getting and abuse, the assault. So I think we've still got more to see from Amanda, and I'm hoping someone new does come in. At the moment, she's going to go back down to bantamweight. The featherweight division apparently might be dissolved. Apart from Dana White saying it's not going to be the case, because as long as Amanda's around, it's still going to be there. And that leads on to what I'm going to speak about for Megan in a sec, because they were basically saying she needs to leave because they don't believe there's enough people in the pool for the featherweight division. But from what Dana said, it is going to continue. She's still got those belts, and as long as she's active, they'll keep that featherweight open. But she does want to go back down to bantamweight, from what I've been told, and I believe that's where she's going to really, you know, just chill and coast for a while until things come up for something new. So we'll see what happens there. I am going to discuss briefly at the end of this video about another fighter who wants to fight her in the bantamweight division. So we'll see if that's going to happen, but at the moment it doesn't look likely to. So congratulations, Amanda, you've got my support as always, and I will continue to make any videos I can on you for your future upcoming fights, and I'm looking forward to them. So let me know in the comment section below, guys and girls, what you think about that fight and Amanda in general as an athlete. So moving on to Megan Anderson. So like I mentioned, she's now been dropped from UFC as a result of losing in the first round against Amanda Nunes. Her contract's expired, it's not going to be renewed, and I'll be honest, I don't know where she's going to go at the moment, because of her height and stature, I can't see her going down into bantamweight to try and take on Amanda again. And Amanda doesn't show any interest at the moment in having a rematch for her, and she can't anyway, because she's not actually going to be in the UFC. So we'll see what happens for Megan. I think her career's not over. She's still got a lot to give. She certainly isn't a bad fighter by any standards, but when she just come against someone like Amanda's just in a completely different league. So I don't think she was actually ready for this fight. So we'll see what happens for Megan. Hopefully she's going to come back at some point. She can get an entry route back into the UFC, obviously by having some fights in different areas, and then hopefully she'll get an invite and perhaps get a new contract, and perhaps, like I said, get that chance to get her name back out there, because I believe she deserves it, and I don't think we've seen the last of her. Rest up, Megan, commiserations, and hopefully we'll be seeing you back in the UFC in the future. So that leads me on to the last story about the Venezuelan Vixen, Julianna Pena. Now, Julianna has been trying to call out Amanda for quite some time now. She's ranked currently 6th in the bantamweight category, and she's not very happy with Nunes, to be honest, because she wants to fight. She was scheduled to have a fight with Holly Holm on May the 8th, but Holly had to withdraw, and then Pena straight away called her out, as in Nunes, for the fight. Dana White doesn't seem too keen, and obviously neither does Nunes. Nunes says she believes that Pena needs to have another fight to really warrant that title fight, and Pena's response is, that's absolutely ridiculous. If the UFC sets out that Pena must have another win before she gets a chance to obviously fight Nunes, basically what's going to happen is that she needs to give her some time to let her come back down on the weight for bantamweight, and Pena said she's happy to do that. You know, she's not got a problem with that at all. So as long as she gets her chance to actually finally have a fight for that title. So we will see what happens. Who knows what's going to happen? At the end of the day, she's cleared out both divisions, and people haven't really proven themselves to have a title shot. So the Vixen's going to have to do something quite special. I think she's going to have to get at least 1 or 2 fights under her belt to really challenge in the bantamweight. So that could be happening, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime this year. But we shall see. So that's what's happening next. So let me know in the comment section below, guys, if you think that fight is actually going to happen or not. Don't forget, guys and girls, UFC 260 is up next on March 28th. And obviously, we've got the headline fight with the two-time heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou. I hope I've pronounced that right for any haters. Obviously, the last time those two met was in 2018 at UFC 220, where Miocic won by unanimous decision. So this is going to be their second bout. And just to add that Stipe actually set the record for the most successful consecutive title defenses with his third there. So I hope you're all as excited as I am, because I love the heavyweight division in UFC. It's my favourite. So guys, as always, if you liked today's video, please remember to either like, comment, subscribe and hit that bell button for no future notifications. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about UFC 260, what your predictions, and also anything else you want to share about the UFC 259 that I spoke about with the girls from today. So until then, take care and I'll see you soon. Amigo Finis, signing out.